Well, our heroes are now in Pottsylvania, a country where everybody's a spy and everything's a secret. And what's more, last time when our boys opened the door to their room, they found it in a dreadful condition. Bullwinkle instantly made a brilliant deduction.
Somebody's been in here. I know, 'cause when we went out, this blotter was facing the other way.
At that moment in the underground headquarters of the International Spy Ring, Boris Badenov was speaking to his superior officer.
Well, there they are, fearless leader. All of Moose and Squirrel's money and papers.
And what do you think they'll do now, Badenov?
They'll start for home.
And how do we get secret rocket fuel formula from Moose if he goes home?
You mean...
Yes, in the words of our decadent American enemies, you goofed. I'll have to report this to Mr. Big.
Mr. Big? Oh, no, not that. I beg of you, fearless leader. Take back my medals, my bad conduct ribbon, my iron double cross, even my membership card in Arsenics Anonymous. But don't report me to Mr. Big.
Well, I guess I'm just soft, sentimental fool, Badenov. But you get one small chance.
Anything, fearless leader.
See that Moose and Squirrel find mooseberries.
Check.
Make rocket fuel.
Check.
Give it to us.
Check.
And see they don't get back alive.
Ha, 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 ha. Double check.
But Boris had reckoned without the strong purpose of our boys, who just weren't about to quit.
No, 'cause we're steadfast.
And ever faithful.
And true blue.
And besides, we didn't think of it.
What we need is a guide, Bullwinkle. Somebody who knows all about mountain climbing.
Mountain climbing? Why for that, Rock?
Look here, Bullwinkle. Mooseberries grow only on the highest peak in the Grimalaya Mountains. Why don't you take a peek? 32,000 feet high. Pretty high, huh?
If it was any higher, I'd have to stand on a chair just to think about it.
Let's look in the phone book under guide.
But our heroes had a surprise coming to them, for it seems that every spy in Pottsylvania had an unlisted number. And since there was nobody but spies, all the pages were completely blank.
Boy, I'm sure getting tired of playing I Got a Secret.
Maybe there's an ad in the paper, Bullwinkle.
Nobody ever said a truer word, for so secretive was the Pottsylvania press that there was no news at all. Just advertisements. And what ads?
No caper complete without D's and Do's sleeping potions.
Assassinations cheap. Satisfaction guaranteed, or your body back.
Latest in Pottsylvanian evening wear, casual wear, and beach wear.
Looks like masks are coming back this year.
But there's no ads for guides, not even for sightseeing trips.
Nope, in Pottsylvania, nobody shows nobody nothing.
I wonder where we're ever going to get a mountain climbing guide.
Yodely-doddly, hodly-ho! Allow me to introduce myself, Sir Hilary Push-em-off at your service. Come down, princess.
Who's that?
That is famous Indian guide, Princess Bubbling Spring that runs in the meadow.
Call me Bubbles.
You're sure you're good guides?
Double cross my heart and hope you die.
Dandy!
So our heroes have hired their worst enemies as guides. Be sure to see our next episode, Danger Ahead, or watch out for Falling Rockies.
And now it's time for...
Time for the dancing fool, Bullwinkle!
Again? And now for one of our special fairy tales.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a family of 3 sisters. The elder sister, Prunelda, was remarkably ugly. You might think that she was the ugliest woman you'd ever seen until you saw the second sister, Grimessa, who looked even worse. With 2 such hags in the family, it was surprising that the third sister, sweet little Beat, was very pretty indeed. And how do you think that made her sisters feel?
Terrible!
And what do you think they did?
We treat her something awful, of course.
As a matter of fact, Sweet Little Beat was so used to her treatment that she took no notice of it.
Prunelda, you'll just ruin that poker. Fun's fun, Grimessa, but this isn't getting the floor mopped.
When the two sisters tired of thumping on Little Beat, they played ball with her.
Okay, put her over.
Please, girls, I have to polish the silver.
Then, one day, as Grimessa was preparing another unpleasant surprise for Little Beat, Prunelda burst in with exciting news. His Highness, Prince Fascinato, was searching for a bride to share his kingdom and his castle, where he now lived alone, attended only by his Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's job was to serve the prince in every way. This was difficult because the Prince Fascinato was invisible. No one could see him. If he picked up a bowl, you could see the bowl move. If he ate, you could see the food disappear, but you could not see where to. One day, the prince had said to his Prime Minister,
You know, Winnie, I should be married.
Yes, Your Majesty.
I'm not on the throne, Winnie. I'm over here.
Oh, yes, Your Majesty.
There must be a girl somewhere who can see me. You line up all the eligible ladies, and we'll see if any of them can make the grade.
So the Prime Minister had sent out word of the contest, and soon all the girls in the kingdom were in front of the castle waiting to see the invisible prince. Vendors were doing a brisk business in tip sheets and clues to what he looked like. Crystal balls were at a premium, and right at the head of the line were Prunelda and Grimessa.
First girl.
I see ya.
His Highness isn't here yet.
Oh.
The rules are as follows. You must first tell what the prince is wearing on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Second, you must tell what his bowstring is made of.
Bowstring like in bow and arrow?
Correct. And remember, in case of a tie, duplicate princes will not be awarded.
If I guess those two things, he'll marry even me.
Even, you.
I could use that kind of a break.
And the Prime Minister pulled aside a curtain at one end of the room.
I see you, sweetheart. Let's get hitched.
One moment. What does His Highness wear on his shoulder?
A gold oak leaf cluster and a tattoo that says, Remember the Maine.
Wrong. Now, what is his bowstring made of?
Catgut.
Next.
The next contestant was Grimessa.
Yoo-hoo, honey, I see ya.
Not me, madam. Him. What is on the prince's shoulder?
2 kumquats and a bald eagle with a flag in his mouth.
Next.
All day long, the girls of the kingdom tried to see the prince. Nobody succeeded. When the two ugly sisters returned home, they were very sad, of course. But when Sweet Little Beat announced that she was going to try...
What's so funny?
Prince marry a beat-up little peanut like you?
You're crazy.
Not crazy enough to stay in this house anymore.
You mean you're mad because we treat you so mean?
No, I just can't stand all that ugly anymore.
Ugly?
You know she's right.
So, Sweet Little Beat went to the palace and straight up to the throne.
Hey, you, where's the invisible prince?
You can see him?
Sure, I see him, but where's Prince Fascinato?
Oh, what's he wearing on his shoulder?
A rainbow.
Is that it?
It's close enough.
And what is his bowstring made of?
Is that his bowstring? Looks more like the Milky Way.
Your Majesty?
It's true. Oh, fair maiden, you're the one for me.
You're the prince?
Yes. Let us be wed. You will be my princess, live in my castle.
Yes, Sweet Little Beat was the only girl who could see Prince Fascinato. Her sisters who had followed her were amazed.
You see him?
Well, sure. Now, come on, let's go home.
But aren't you going to stay here and marry the prince?
Stay here? You forget. I've seen him. Believe me, he's uglier than you are.
You know she's right.
So the three sisters went home together and lived happily ever after, which of course points to a moral.
Yes. Be it ever so painful, there's no place like home.
Well, our heroes are really closing in on the mooseberry bush, for they've hired a famous mountain climber, Sir Hilary Push-Him-Off, and his friend, the Indian guide, Princess Bubbles, to guide them up the Grimalaya Mountains. Little do they know, however, that the guides are really those two spies, Boris and Natasha.
Please, you're giving away the plot.
Well, Sir Hilary, here's where we're going, high on the slopes of Why Don't You Take a Peek?
Want you to take a peek?
I take it you know the name.
Know it. It is the most feared mountain in old Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but you're not scared, are you, Sir Hilary?
Of course not. Him always turn green this time of year.
If I could just have a breath fresh air.
Why, certainly.
And Boris left the room and quickly made his way to the underground headquarters of Central Control.
Something wrong, Bedinov?
You see where I'm supposed to go?
Why don't you take a peek? Lovely vacation spot.
Vacation spot.
If you're an iceberg.
But fearless leader.
Silence, Bedinov. Is only a little 20,000-foot mountain peak. You're not chicken, are you? Come. Remember Pennsylvania.
Well...
Remember who pays you salary.
Well...
Remember your sense of honor.
Let's go back to who pays the salary.
Besides, if you don't go, I got to report you to Mr. Big.
Mr. Big? You wouldn't? Yes, you would. All right, I'm going. Orly-hoo.
And a few hours later, Boris and Natasha were leading our friends up the slippery slopes of Why Don't You Take a Peek.
Orly-hoo.
Well, which way do we go now?
That way.
Well, we can't go in both directions.
Yeah, we're all roped together.
Great Spirit say go that way.
You going to argue with me? This way.
You going to argue with Great Spirit? That way.
Maybe we could split the difference and go straight ahead.
I say this way.
I say that way.
Well, if you insist, that way.
Golly, they're sliding clear down the slope.
And we're all roped together.
Brace yourself, Bullwinkle.
Right, Rocky! I'd just like to see them budge me now. They'd have to uproot this great big tree!
And in just a few seconds, the entire party had slid to the bottom of a deep crevasse in the snow.
Where's Sir Hilary?
I don't know. Here's his hat.
Yeah, but where's he?
I'm under the hat, you idiot.
Well, peek-a-boo.
Hey, look there.
Oh, boy, snow!
No, Bullwinkle, up higher.
Well, I'll be a moose's uncle.
Yep, it's a mooseberry bush. Our search is at an end.
Oh, boy, and we made it in only one episode.
So after carefully uprooting the precious mooseberry bush, the party started off with the two spies well in the lead.
Now Pennsylvania can make secret rocket fuel.
If Moose and Squirrel do not take it to USA.
How can Moose and Squirrel take to USA if there is no Moose and Squirrel?
Oh, Boris, you are a sly boots. When does it happen?
No time like the present. Observe, Natasha. Secret weapon.
Weapon? But that's only a piece of candy.
Watch. Hello down there! Anybody care for jawbreaker? Mighty yummy.
Sure, why not?
Okay, here it comes.
And Boris started the jawbreaker rolling down the snow-covered slope. And in just a little while, it picked up a covering of loose snow, then formed a snowball that grew until it was a tremendous ball the size of a house that hurtled down on our heroes. Don't fail to see our next episode, Avalanche is Better Than None, or Snow's Your Old Man.
Hello, poetry lovers. Today's poem is a story of crime in the big city. Tom the Piper's son. Tom the Piper's son stole a pig and away he... Oops.
Police officer, what do you got in the bag?
It's a sort of a pig.
You got a permit to pack a pig?
Well, no, I...
Better come along with us. You know it's a felony to pack a pig over a state line?
No.
Take napping.
But it's a pig in a poem.
What, a pig in a poke, huh?
A poke, poem, pig in a poem.
Big poem?
Not so pig, just about...
You're making fun of the way we talk.
No, but it's catching.
Name?
I'm Tom the Piper's son.
All right, Piper, son, what were you going to do with the pig?
Well, the poem says the pig was eat, but...
Don't eat it, huh?
No.
On a platter.
No.
Apple in its mouth like that?
Certainly not.
All right, Piper, son, you can go, but don't leave town.
Thanks. Can I have my pig back?
No. Evidence.
Darn.
One more thing, Piper, son.
What's that?
You got an apple on you.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But...
See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
And now it's time to meet Mr. Peabody.
Hello again, Peabody here.
And I'm Sherman, Mr. Peabody's boy.
Today, Sherman and I will travel back to the days when the red man roamed the West. Set the way back for the year 1875, Sherman.
And the place?
The Black Hills of South Dakota, where we'll join forces with the 7th Cavalry under the command of General George Armstrong Custer. As usual, Sherman and I made an instantaneous transition. We arrived just as Custer completed the interrogation of a sentry.
Now, just what makes you think you saw an Indian?
This arrow on my shoulder, sir. It weren't there when I went on duty.
Oh, is that an arrow? I thought it was a tie pin.
It's an arrow, sir, same as all the other sentries has got.
You mean they've all been hit in the shoulder?
All except Curly. He ain't Curly no more.
This calls for immediate action. Assemble the men. Oh, and do something about that arrow, son. Makes your uniform look sloppy.
Seconds later, the entire command stood at attention before their general.
Men, there's an ugly rumor going around there's Indians in the neighborhood. Now, we all know what's got to be done. We got to go out and track them down.
But, sir, we all have weekend leave so we can see the Army-Navy game.
Well, all right. I'll go out and look for the Indians.
Pardon me, General, but Mr. Peabody and I could go with you.
Know anything about Indians, son?
Only that they're in the American League.
That's what I like, a sense of humor. All right, we'll leave at dawn.
It is dawn, sir.
So it is. All right, we'll leave now. American League.
4 hours later, our 3-man patrol halted the search and surveyed the barren territory.
Still no signs of Indians, General.
Yeah, but they're tricky, son. Never know where they are. Good thing you boys is out with me, otherwise you might walk right into a trap.
You mean like this one?
Must have made a wrong turn somewhere.
What white man want in Indian village?
Well, it's a little cold over at the fort, and we thought, Chiefy, we might borrow some blankets.
Yellow hair got 'em poor sense of humor.
I think what General Custer is trying to say is that the United States government would appreciate it if you and your tribe would return to the reservation.
Red man cancel reservation. Go on warpath.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm putting the whole bunch of you under arrest. How many of you are there?
Got 'em 5,000 warriors.
Well, I could take some of you in now and come back for the rest of you later in the week. How'll that be?
You my prisoners. We attack 'em Kansas City in morning, then come back and kill you.
Do you think he means it, Mr. Peabody?
I'm sure he's in dead earnest, Sherman. However, don't give up hope. Chief, I suppose you'll have your customary feast before going into battle.
Ugh, red man never make 'em war on empty stomach. Sitting Bull said that.
Good. Then I'll have the pleasure of cooking for you.
Say there, you got 'em way with skillet?
You mean you haven't heard of Peabody's prolific pastries? After getting the chief's approval, I sent General Custer and Sherman to pick every wild berry they could find.
50 baskets, Mr. Peabody. Is that enough?
It will do nicely, Sherman. I then proceeded to whip up a huge amount of pie crust batter. 1 hour later, I was the proud parent of 1,293 wild berry pies.
Pies look heap good. Injun eat 'em now?
By all means, Chief. Eat 'em to your heart's content.
Say, look, Peabody, I like to eat as much as the next man. But don't you think we ought to fight these fellers instead of feeding them?
I am fighting them, General. By morning, these Indians will be in no condition to go on the warpath. You see, wild berries cooked at a certain temperature produce a specific effect when eaten.
Makes you sick?
Sleepy, General. Hopelessly and irretrievably sleepy. Sure enough, no sooner were the pies consumed than the entire village was rendered hors de combat. The next day, the 7th Cavalry took the sleepy tribe in tow and escorted them back to their reservation.
Well, I'll be seeing you boys. Heard there's a rumor there's 3 or 4 Injuns running around the Little Bighorn. Think I'll run over and check it out.
Little Bighorn? Wasn't that the site of Custer's last stand?
Definitely not, Sherman. Custer's last stand is right over there. By the way, do you prefer mustard or catsup on your hot dogs?
Well, our heroes had just a brief moment of triumph in their search for a mooseberry bush. For not only did Natasha, posing as a guide, take possession of the bush, but Boris rolled a piece of candy downhill toward them that rapidly grew into a snowball as big as a house.
Gee, we just asked Sir Hillary for a jawbreaker.
Well, we sure got one. That thing would bust anybody's jaw.
Head for those trees, Bullwinkle. The snowball may break against them.
But as our heroes dashed for the trees, the gigantic snowball overtook them.
Hang on, Rocky!
Look at that, Natasha. A perfect strike.
Not quite, darling. There's 2 left.
Yes, remarkable as it seems, our friends were still intact, although just a little groggy.
Quick, get his license number, Rock.
Oh, you poor fellows. What a dreadful accident.
And not only that, we didn't even get the jawbreaker.
We have more important things to do, Bullwinkle. We gotta get that bush back to the USA.
So our friends started off through the snowfields of Wanchatecapeak. It soon became evident that their guide lacked a certain amount of confidence.
Well, which way now, Sir Hillary?
Well, let me consult my compass. Heads. We go this way.
You're sure now?
Of course. I know every rock in these mountains.
Did you know that one?
Of course. Hello, Cliff.
Hey, Rocky, look! Footprint!
Good. We'll just follow him back to... Hey, wait a minute.
What's up?
Those tracks look familiar, Bullwinkle. Hey, step into that footprint.
What do you know? Somebody takes the same size hoof as me.
Nobody's feet are that big but yours, Bullwinkle.
You mean?
Yep, those are our tracks. We're going in circles, Sir Hillary.
Circles? Impossible.
Then how come these moose prints?
Think fast, Sir Hillary.
I'm sorry to say, old chappie, those not moose prints.
They're not?
Yet, those are prints of fierce, wild, man-eating creature that roams Wanchatecapeak.
Fierce?
Wild?
You mean?
Yes. These are tracks of abominable snowmen.
The abominable snowman?
Boris, darling, you flipped?
Well, I had to say something.
But he's no such animal.
He's now. And if Moose and Squirrel don't get back, who is to blame? Abominable snowman.
Boris, darling, you've done it again.
Of course. Never underestimate the power of a schnook.
But though the wily Boris had convinced the boys that they weren't going in circles, he still had problems, for he led them onto a huge overhanging ledge of snow and ice.
Well, looks like a nice place to stop and have a lunch.
Doesn't look very safe to me.
Relax. Enjoy the echo. Hello?
Holy smoke, look at that!
Sure enough, the vibration of the echo had been enough to disturb the delicate balance of the snowy overhang, and it began to crack loose.
Don't move, Bullwinkle!
Unfortunately, Bullwinkle had just been ready to eat a hard-boiled egg.
Shh! Quiet, Bullwinkle.
I can't help it, Rock. There's pepper on this egg and...
Hold it!
There. I'm okay now.
And our heroes plummeted toward the valley floor 1,000 feet below. Don't miss our next episode, Below Zero Heroes, or I Only Have Ice for You.